in with your light as your bright fights to unite, and we will see your glory in the morning light. Glory falling like a fire. Glory as we come united. Oh, oh, we will see your glory in the morning light. Glory falling like a fire. Glory as we come united. Let it fall here where the world has forgotten. Let it fall here and the falling will stand. Let it fall here where this bones has an army. Let it fall here. Let it fall. Father God, we want more. We won't stop chasing your heart until we see your glory in the morning light. Glory falling like a fire. Glory as we come united. Oh, oh, we will see your glory in the morning light. Glory falling like a fire. Glory as we come united. Oh, let it fall here where the world has forgotten. Let it fall here and the falling will stand. Let it fall here where this bones has an army. Let it fall here. Let it fall. Come like a rushing water. Come like a mighty wind. Come let your Holy Spirit fall on us again. Come like a rushing water. Come like a mighty wind. Come let your Holy Spirit fall on us again. Come like a rushing water. Come like a mighty wind. Come let your Holy Spirit fall on us again. Come like a rushing water. Come like a mighty wind. Come let your Holy Spirit fall on us again. Let it fall here where the world has forgotten. Let it fall here and the falling will stand. Let it fall here where there's bones, there's an army. Let it fall here. Let it
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the Great American Podcast, where everything American matters. Appreciate you guys being here. Sorry for the late start. I have some new tech that I'm trying to work with, and you guys know how the show is with technology. Anyways, welcome. Thanks a lot for being here. We're joined by we have a guest, starting Wortham, Alan Wortham. Thank you for joining us, sir, from Wortham Armory.
That's right. Thank you for having me, and happy belated birthday. I heard you got some new equipment for your birthday, so happy birthday.
Oh, Thanks, brother. Yeah. The hardest part is the setup and getting it to work out and getting it to work right. So that's kind of where we're at, right? This is the first show with it. I tried to get it set up for Wednesday's show, but yeah, that wasn't happening. So thanks for being
So
here.
you're
We're all,
special.
huh?
I said Sergeant Wortham is special.
Yep,
He
he
gets the
sure is.
first setup.
First one, and then we're joined by
Yeah.
Jeff. Jeff,
What's up, peoples? Thank you for your service, Sergeant Wortham.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate the time. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
former fetus, Miss Cammy. Well,
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and absolutely thank you for your service, Sergeant Wortham. Cannot
Cam.
thank you enough what you sacrificed.
and then we all love John the Mod. Hey, John.
Yes.
What's up, brother?
Hey, John.
How was your weekend, man? How's your weekend going, John? I know today's your first day off of work, right?
It's going. He's going.
It's going. It was a
It's
long
going.
week at work.
Looks like Ms. Ruby's the first one in the chat, so we do have some people joining us.
Yes. Hi, Ruby. I'm a girl.
John the Mod is like the guy from Major League that was in the booth with Bob Uecker. And Bob Uecker's like, he's a man of many words.
Yeah, dynamite drop in, Marty, is what he said. Something like
Yeah.
that. All he said was like, nice shot, or something like that. He's like,
Yeah.
dynamite drop in. And then he switched it back over. That was a great scene.
Oh, love it.
I love that movie.
So
Yeah.
Sergeant Wortham, so a couple things, those of you that are watching right now and listening, Sergeant Wortham actually does, so he's the Marine.
Yep, that's right.
Marine. So thank you, sir, for that. Also, he does flags for fallen vets here in Houston.
That's
So he's
right.
in charge of that. And how long have you been doing that for?
Well, that's a fun thing. I guess we've been doing that since 2017 when I started at HP, major contributor in the area to different employee and action networks and things like that. So I was a co-chair for the Veterans Impact Network at HP, and we kind of got involved in 2017. My personal involvement began then, but then I became the co-chair, and we just did it every year. We tried to get people, for the wreaths across America as well. That's during a very pivotal travel time for our company. Our company's multinational, but that was back in the day. So what I did most recently, I've since left HP, and I got Accenture involved. Built up Military Impact Network with Accenture, my firm that I work for now. And we took a bunch of people out there this year and kind of piggybacked with my team from HP, a bunch of good friends still. And we got to do a couple Fox News shoots and talk about the importance of showing the appreciation to those that have fallen for us.
So can you dig a little bit more into the network that you're working with Accenture on a little bit on helping out the veterans? That's
Yeah,
extremely-
sure. COVID killed everything, right? Not just people, right? But it killed spirit. It killed camaraderie and teamwork, right? It killed a lot of things. They showed us that we could work from home alone, right? Without input really from anyone else. You don't have to drive the office anymore. So a lot of people lost touch. So what I did at Accenture, I partnered with a couple folks that are veterans, and we were like, yeah, enough of this bullshit. We've got to get something together so we can all sit around and share stories, right? We got to share stories of, transition. All of us had a tough transition into civilian world. So that's kind of a lot of where we focus. So we built the Military Impact Network or Enterprise Readiness Group. Those are pretty common in Fortune 100s these days. So everybody's got a group. No matter what you are, you got a Christian group, your Muslims groups, your white, black, and everything in between, right? So we didn't have a military group or a veterans group. So I built two of them. One of them was for the company as a whole, right? In Houston, their location. And then for my individual team, I've got 300 people on a team. It's the Agile Services Group. And in that group, I built a military enterprise readiness group within there as well. Basically, what we do is we sit and outreach. We drink scotch every third Friday and smoke a couple cigars on camera and just talk. Everybody's invited, but there is a disclaimer, on top of the screen. It's like, if you don't like candid conversation, if you can't handle, whatever conversations we have, you might as well just leave. So it's not a safe space for feelings and things of that nature. So we're kind of fighting against the establishments, the way that they have to make everything so kosher on every issue, and everybody has to cover every greeting known to man. On one hand, they want you to check a box saying, if you're male, female, white, black, or indifferent. On the other hand, they're like, well, you can't be a part of our group, right? Because you're not black. So I was like, well, how the hell do you know? I had a DNA test done. I'm 1% Congo African. I swear, that's 100% truth. So, I want to be a part of all the groups because my leadership skills point to harmony. Like that's my number one leadership strength. So
That's awesome. Yeah, I was just thinking about there was I think Jeff, you might have brought it up. There was either a TikTok video or some type of video out there that was on True Social floating around where it talked about how I'm not part of this flag, I'm not part of that flag, I'm not part of this flag, but the American flag, everybody's part of.
mm-hmm.
Everybody that lives in this country is part of that flag.
Yeah.
Oh, Jeffrey did. Yeah, Jeffrey Steele. Jeffrey
Was it
Jeffrey
Jeffrey
did.
Steele talked about that on
Yeah.
Wednesday? Yeah, I mean, his song, right? Well, I think his song. He
Yeah.
did Jeffrey Steele was on Wednesday, and he did a "Hey Hey" song of the day that he just wrote for us, and he played it live on the show. So those of you that are out there watching this and didn't catch Wednesday's episode of Off the Cuff, it was kind of crazy. It just kind of happened to where he was available at that time, and so he was able to hop on.
Well, just think, Stephen, you had a 50-50 shot of who said it, but you had a 100% shot of getting it right with the name. So
Yes, I did, Jeffrey.
you ordered a win-win.
Win-win.
So welcome to the show. So we're very similar here. Sorry, more than what you're going to see, and hopefully you can spend some time with us today. We'll go through and ask some questions. But if you're okay with just hanging out with us, we just go down some rabbit holes, and we like to talk. And
Okay. Well, if
not.
Marine Corps language is welcome, I'm pretty much welcome here. Like I said the F word for my pastor the other day, and I got a dirty look. So I was like, look, man, I was made in His image, but I'm not perfect. You know.
Yeah.
You'll get a dirty look from us if you don't say it. So.
Oh, that's fair enough. Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Thank you,
I don't
Jeff.
want
I'm
to
waiting
offend.
for Jeff to say that.
I hate to offend anyone in your audience, man.
Oh,
I'm not.
Jeff and I
generally an
have our
offensive
show
guy.
on Tuesday nights, and he's sure to drop one of those or two.
Nice.
Well, it's unhinged and then off the cuff on Wednesday with me and Steven. So.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I'm not an offensive guy. I don't try to offend people. I am one of the few that still believe that you just be who you are.
Mm-hmm.
That used to be a thing, right? But now it's like you can be who you are, but you have to be put into a box with everybody else who is who you are. It's like I am so confused, guys, on how to function in this society today.
Everybody is.
I've gotten to a point where it's like I'm looking for property. As soon as my kids are in college, I don't want this anymore. I'm leaving Cypress, Texas. I'm going to the woods. You won't see me again until everyone works this shit out, right? If y'all need help with a couple guns and ammo, come see me. But I mean, I'm so tired of the way people. I'm tired of the way people look at me personally, right? I mean, I drive a pickup truck. I've got a bumper sticker on it. I'm a redneck, but I'm also a highly educated individual with a lot of credentials, right? And it's like they look at me like I can't make it where I'm supposed to make it. But they don't understand. I'm building $100 million manufacturing plant right now in Bryan, Texas. So if a redneck from the trailer park in Southeast Texas can do that just by being who he is, I'm pretty sure everyone else should just embrace who they are and quit fucking with everyone and let people do their thing,
Absolutely.
Well, it's like what I said on the show Wednesday with Steven, and when Jeffrey Steele was on, I said, I mean, I've said this before and I'll say it again, we've all been indoctrinated in our own way growing up, but you said it, it's like, how do you fit in? And what I said the other night is, this generation obviously got hit the worst. This was the kill shot. Not only were they taught to hate the police, hate authority, and hate their country, worst off, they were taught to hate themselves. And that's where you have to draw the line. Nobody alive today is responsible for what happened 150 years ago.
That's accurate. Absolutely.
I totally believe that technology has killed us. Technology has killed this generation, because they said that they've done a study and that this generation is growing up with no social skills. And I posted a meme last night, Sergeant, and you can see on my Twitter page, I posted a meme and it showed kids playing out in the rain with the soccer ball, because that's what I did as a kid, go out in the rain with the soccer ball, and it said, this is normal childhood. And then it showed a picture of kids nowadays like this, all sitting on the couch with their thing. And this is not normal.
Yeah.
And they said that our generation, and I see it with my daughter, and it's really sad. She's got a very hard time communicating with people. All of her friends do, because they're all on their phone and they're in the same room texting each other. And I'm like,
John,
it's called cell phone for a reason.
Yeah, John, I want you to look something up, man. It's a patent number. It's US 6506. It's US 6506 148 Bravo 2. So that is literally a patent for nervous system manipulation through electromagnetic fields in your phones, computers, televisions, laptops, all of it. So someone saw the value in doing just that, Cami, which is pulling all of our communication skills offline, rebooting the way that we communicate, and making us dumber by the minute. We can get information faster than we ever could in the history of mankind. And what have we done with it except for divide and conquer, right? So I think this is the problem that we're coming across, right? It's like we've got real problems in this country by real sinister people that want to do real sinister shit. And it's like, at what point, I saw a guy ask this of Ben Shapiro the other day, at what point do we pick up a gun and kill these motherfuckers? That's exactly what he said. And I'm like, well,
exactly.
I'm opposed to an American shooting other Americans. Okay. This is not,
right.
But when you talk about the way that they're trying to control people, right, and they're trying to take over our nervous systems and hijack the way that we think, they're no longer Americans to me. They're enemies, domestic enemies, right? And it's
domestic enemies.
John,
you need to put that in the link, because I want to look that back up. That's deep. I want to share that. That's very deep.
If you go down there and come back on the other end, you might be a little tired, but there's a lot going on in there that people don't want to read that shit anymore. It's better to just look at a 15-second video of a pretty girl dancing around on a top that's like letting her stuff hang out. So
it's weird that you said that. It's weird that you said that with the patent number, because I just found not a meme but a picture last night, and I'll share it out in a second. But it's like what you said with the cell phones, with what they emit. It's like they emit that radiation at night to literally stop you from falling asleep.
Well, you can't buy stuff when you're asleep. You can't buy stuff, right? So it's like they want you to. I've rolled over several times Ambien. Okay, I was a sergeant of Marines and I got real fucked up in Iraq and I can't sleep, so I take Ambien sometimes. Thank you, Veterans Administration, for that. I woke up one morning and I had purchased $350 worth of stuff randomly. I don't remember doing it. I remember being subconsciously there, and I bought it, right? It's so weird. The weirdest thing you ever seen. Of course, Amazon takes returns, thank God. But the activity alone was just something else controlled what I was doing, and it was not me, right? And it happened in the middle of the night when I should have been sleeping. I put my keys in the freezer. I put the ice cream in the refrigerator. I was sleepwalking for a bit. Like, this is not me, right? I've never done anything like that before in my life. So what are we putting in our bodies and our minds, right? Like, we're dirty and we need to cleanse, right? That's what we are.
So Sergeant Wortham, this is what I found. This is what I found last night. Hi, I'm John Patterson, Instagram Connections Consciousness. I was a senior telecommunications officer for Telstra in Australia, responsible for the deployment of thousands of cell towers. When I discovered the towers emit microwave radiation 50,000 times higher than the legal limit, I sent a report into head office pleading them to do something. I was fired within 48 hours. So to get the word out, I took my friend's tank and destroyed 8 tower sites. I was sentenced to serve 20 months in jail, and I don't regret it. People need to know.
Hey, not all heroes wear capes, man. Not all heroes wear capes.
Right.
The problem that we have with his claims, right? And here's the problem that I have with all these claims is the people that set a legal limit, right? Those people are not generally professionals. They're politicians. They have no idea what they're talking about. That's why when you saw Zuckerberg go to Capitol Hill, they were asking him what even a www. Whatever. These people are too freaking old. Okay, they're out of touch with society. Mitch McConnell's hitting the pause button every day. What is happening? Why do we not have term limits for Congress? Age limits. Okay, I understand back in the day, it was older people had wisdom to give. Now they're suckling at the teat of the federal government and just taking money and diversifying their portfolios in ways that we can't justify legally here in the United States. That's what's happening. It's a money laundering scheme. Ukraine is, in fact, that. We are chasing
Yeah.
that down. Eventually, it's going to come out. But here's the problem: they'll classify it for it's classified documentation for the next 50 years. So everybody's dead by the time it gets rolled out. People will that are alive at the time when it does roll out, like the Kennedy information. We didn't have enough vested interest in that to then storm the damn capitals like they did or whatever back in 1776. It's like we have a situation here where delayed information release is what's making slowly losing a little bit every single time, right? So we're
Mhm.
climbing a ladder here. We'll find out all this stuff was bogus in about 45 years when I'm too old to pick up an AR, right? And my kids are
Yeah.
too stupid on a cell phone to understand that something wrong happened. That's how they're playing this. It's a long con, slow game. The
Yeah.
only thing you can do as an American right now, try to make as much money as you can in the shortest a period of time that you can, and to set your family up for the oh shit. I don't know what's happening, but I've been feeling it coming for 5 years, y'all. I don't know what's going to happen, but I've got about 150,000 rounds of 9mm that says it's not going to be my problem. It's going to be a lot of people out here struggling to survive. My family's going to be okay, and I hate that because everyone that puts it off, the preparation, you're
I
gonna
know,
pay
and
for it.
I've been prepping for 25 years. So my husband and I have been doing that, and we have been stocking ammunition for 25 years. And I read a lot of books on it can be anywhere from EMP bombs coming to the apocalypse, whatever. And it's good prepping ideas, and it shows you how to compost and if it ever got to that, within a week, 80 to 90% of people are going to be gone because they didn't prepare, and they're going to get shot because they're trying to steal somebody else's stuff. And so we have 9-year-old twin boys, sergeant, and we have already taught them how to shoot because in these prepping books and stuff, it says if anything like that shit does go down, you have to have a 24-hour watch around your perimeter. And that means all hands on deck. I don't care if you got a 5-year-old, that 5-year-old better have a shotgun in his hand.
Every one of my family members are decent marksmen. Every single one of them except the damn dog. The dog, he'll track down the enemy. He's spotted bloodhound, beautiful dog, excellent sense of smell, but he does like car rides to the dog park, right? So all that stuff's got to come to an end. But he was supposed to be a hunting dog. Now he's a baby. So I don't know what happened.
That is the only reason that we're at right now. Otherwise, we would all be in concentration camps because America, they know they can't come in because every single American homeowner owns at least one gun if you break it down.
Well,
so
I boost that average. I boost that average every time I walk into a gun store. I just can't help myself. It's like like my kids will pick out a bag of gummy bears, but I'll pick out a new AR or something. There's a lot of things that I could unpack on firearms and ammunition for some folks. Maybe some things that people haven't thought about for their long-term health when it comes to, say, I don't want to say post-apocalyptic because it wouldn't be the apocalypse. It would just be a bunch of dumbasses that mismanage the government and everybody else is pissed.
Yeah.
So when stuff starts falling apart, a lot of people call it a shit hits the fan scenario. There's a couple things you should focus on when you're purchasing firearms and getting ready now, right? The first thing I would tell you to do, stick to same caliber firearms. What is the most common calibers that you will find laying on the ground after a gunfight so you can rearm yourself? 45, 9mm, 5.56, 223. Stick to those main calibers. 12 gauge, right? 12 gauge is going to be one of the most important things you've ever owned. 22.
That's the most. I mean, that's going to do the most damage. What do you think about the new 750 that's out for hunting and everything else?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about it, right? I don't know. I don't even mess with it anymore. I just dare them to try. Right, that's all I do.
Dare them to try.
You can make up all the rules you want. You can make anything illegal that you want. I will not comply because I don't recognize your authority to do so. Right? It's like that's the way that we do things.
Let me see.
There you go. So I recognize my authority as a free American person. I gotta say person now because I work in a big company, but a free American person, right? I recognize my own authority to manage my household. I recognize my own authority to raise my children the way that I want to raise my children, in a way that they're going to contribute back to this, maybe help save and salvage. Because I don't know if you guys know this or if you hang out with a lot of Gen Zers or not, But they're like Gen Xers, but with no filter. We've had to we get popped in the mouth if we talk back to a boomer or something like that. You know, my kids don't get popped in the mouth, right? I asked my kids why they just said what they said, and we analyze thought processes. But it turns out my kids are more libertarian than I am. So I'm like, okay, fine, fair enough. I can't wait for you guys to fix all the shit that the previous generations broke. And it's like, if you can't do it, if they can't do it, guys, my sons are going to be holding weapons in an actual firefight. I don't want that for my boys, you know?
Yeah.
But shit, here we go, you know?
Not to be sexist, but I'm very glad that more women are picking up firearms. And like my sister-in-law, she goes every week to the shooting range with my brother. And what woman do you know that on her wedding day for her present, her uncle gave her a gun for her wedding?
That's fantastic.
My uncle, 26 years ago, he's a retired police officer. And he told me he brought several guns and he goes, which one do you want? And I got to pick out the gun and he gave it to me for my wedding present. So
nice.
That's awesome.
Very nice. Yeah. I had a niece, just a little cousin. Like I call them all nieces because me and my brothers and sisters and cousins are so close, right? So they're all like nieces and nephews, even though they're like cousins. But they're moving into an apartment. They're getting their first apartment, just starting out in life. And it's like my gift to her is a combat shotgun. All right, so here's your housewarming gift, and then give her a few boxes around and say, hey, go practice. This is the same gun that I would literally cut a tree in half at my mom's property with. He's still pissed at me to this day about that. But
hey, I think from now on, every wedding that I go to, I'm gonna be like, hey, what kind of gun do you want to have? Because that's what everyone needs to have, that, you know.
Yeah, I think we're doing.
I'm a rarity. I was like, yes, I want a gun. Let me pick it out. So he let me hold it because I had to have the right, you know, because you have to have the right, you know, holster and the grip.
Yeah, you got to be able to use it.
Yeah, and be able to use it. So he let me choose from several, and I picked the one that was the most comfortable for me, and I still have it 26 years later.
Well, I've shopped around and I've found a couple of show pistols, some real peacemakers, 45s from back in the late 1800s, and I'm going to get the pearl handles engraved with mine and Rebecca's initials whenever we do finally decide to tie the knot. Like we've been at this thing since 2017, I think. Started out best friends, and now it's like we've been basically common law for a couple of years now, right? So we said we'd never get married again, but I think this trial run is over, and I kind of want to nail her down a little bit. So I'm gonna hook her up with a really nice. That's my proposal. Is like, hey babe, here's a nice gun. Let's get hitched. You know?
Exactly.
It's gonna work just fine.
I like that. Instead of giving a ring, give a gun.
Oh yeah. Well, she got the ring too. That's the problem. She got both, so.
Before when you first started talking, you mentioned something about the government and the money laundering. So I remember seeing a number last night. The number wasn't really accurate. I just looked it up. How much money do you think has been taxed in global warming? Well, now climate change since the 80s.
Well, honest to God, I think it's incalculable. You can't put a
$810 billion.
Didn't you? Yeah. Jeff, didn't you know that's chump change, man? We gave what did we give 100 billion to Iran? We gave 60 billion so far to Ukraine.
Well, let's not forget about the 2.1 trillion that went missing on September 10th.
Yeah, that was weird, right?
And then that side of the building gets hit on the very next day. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, all the records.
Sorry, I'm just leading up to next week, so.
So let's that's a good way to segue into y'all's September 10th performance. But at the same time, you got if it's not that blatantly obvious to people now, people just don't want to see it. We're at a point now where it's like, oh, it's so obvious. When McAfee's evidence dies with him in a freaking sinkhole, in Miami, like in one of the most expensive areas in the entire country, in one of the most expensive buildings in the entire country, it just sinks into what are we talking about here? That does not happen. These things do not happen. Okay. So FEMA, what did you do for the people down in Hawaii? Why did you block? Why didn't you save these people? Like, what the hell is going on around here? And it's like, if you don't see the evidence, it's because you don't give a shit. You don't want to see the evidence. And I think the problem is like, we can't prove it. We don't have anybody doing the real investigative journalism on these things. You might have somebody that's looking into the McAfee thing, but guess what? That might take 5 years for them to get all the story out,
I got a video for that. Give me 1 second.
Right on, man.
Well, I got a video for people waking up to that that whole Oprah and the Rock thing.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
We need money. Well, give
Oprah.
them money, you rich assholes. Like, why do you need my money?
Mhm.
Ain't she a
Exactly.
billionaire? She could drop a
So
couple million.
Yeah.
so it's always attack the middle class.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
That's what
So-
it's about.
So check this one out.
So if you send a donation, just click now.
Did I just witness what I think I witnessed? Please don't tell me I just saw a billionaire standing next to a multi-millionaire begging the average everyday citizen for donations that can barely get by due to a real-life recession, living paycheck to paycheck, barely can pay rent, barely can put food on the table for our families, okay? Living in a real-life recession in a country where our president is giving away all our resources and resources to another country for money. If you two don't go take your Hollywood elite behinds to your other Hollywood elite friends and politician buddies that got millions like you do and billions and get all that money together and help out Maui, you are out your damn mind. Please don't insult our intelligence like that. And after you guys do all of that, you will have enough money to help the rest of us.
Mhm.
Boo. Got it.
Hey,
No,
she's my
that's
new
brilliant.
BFF.
Yeah,
I gotta
that's
find her.
brilliant.
She's my new BFF.
Yeah.
I like that girl.
I found it on YouTube.
I think
That
that's
girl's
brilliant,
awesome.
Jeff. I saw something on that kind of similar point on that the other day. Okay, so a celebrity will go out and they will pledge $20 million to this cause, right, or whatever. It's like,
Right.
okay, well,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean they're giving 20 million of their dollars.
No.
That means they're going to
No.
ask us to
Yeah.
raise as a group that $20 million, and they won't spend a dime. They're just a broker at this point. And then who
Mhm.
knows if all that money even makes it to the citizens of Maui. It's like makes it
That's
to the
so
citizens of
true.
Maui to build a foundation for their new mansion now. That, oh, they're just going to happen to buy up some property down there. I don't know, man. It's all too fishy for me. And it's like if we're on a show about conspiracy, like, oh my God, this is the elites. They wanted that property. That property
Yeah.
is now confiscated, essentially, and people died. People are relocated, and it's not really a natural disaster, right? It's kind of a
Well,
man-made situation.
they should have known better. They should have painted their roofs, the roof of
Blue.
their house blue like Oprah did.
Blue. Yeah.
It can't be real, guys. This can't be real
Yeah.
anymore. This shit is too Netflix fake documentary. It's too
Mhm.
it's all too obvious. We cannot be the only one sitting here looking at this from the outside saying, what the fuck is going on out here? You guys don't see it. It's
Absolutely.
like you watch a
Yeah.
cop pull out a gun
Exactly.
and shoot a guy, and you're like, and he puts it back in his holster. He's like, I didn't shoot him. And you're like, well, I saw you do that though. Did anybody else? And everybody else is like, no, he didn't shoot him. Like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? I saw it
Exactly.
happen. I don't know
Yep.
if I'm the one losing my mind. That's where they
No,
have me,
they're all
right?
MK Ultra. That's what it is.
That's where they have me, guys. I just
So-
don't know if I'm losing it or not. So
Check this out. So this
Understand, it's not necessary for people to believe this information in order to weaken democratic institutions. You just have to flood a country's public square with enough raw sewage. You just have to raise enough questions, spread enough dirt, plant enough conspiracy theorizing that citizens no longer know what to believe. Once they lose trust in their leaders, in mainstream media, in political institutions, in each other, in the possibility of truth, the game's won.
say what you will. The man is a genius. Okay, if he was a commanding general of an army in a long-term engagement, he would definitely take over that entire province, right? And this is my problem. He was the leader of an army that had a prolonged occupation, right? His goals are different than the American people's goals, which is why we're so at each other's throats right now, man. He was good at what he did. Man, did he rape this country? Oh
Well,
my
just
God.
think. ISIS was formed under him. BLM was formed under him, and Antifa was formed
Antifa.
under him.
Sergeant, my whole family is military past or present, and my sister was in Afghanistan when Obama was in office, and she came back with life threat or life altering disease from Afghanistan. So she had to retire, but she retired as an officer, or she's on disability from the Air Force. But the story she told me about how he what he did to our military, you were back in it back then. Basically, she was in finance, and she would have to, they didn't even have money to buy a pen for their office.
Yeah.
Well, his job was to deplete the military.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
16-year plan.
16-year
Yeah.
plan had to do with that depleting the military.
Yeah.
We're supposed to go into a world war under Hillary Clinton. We're supposed to be,
Yeah.
Shut down,
Uranium
and the
one.
virus was going to get put out. Come on, they've been planning that virus for, heck, coronavirus was patented in the 90s. You can look it up. It's
1990.
right there.
It
So,
was Pfizer patented in 1990.
Remember, the virus was for what? The vaccine.
the vaccine. Yep. It always is.
It's not the other way
Big
around.
pharma,
Not the
though,
other way
right? I
around.
mean, that's the way
They had this ridiculously long, drawn out, elaborate plan. Right? They didn't bank on two things. They didn't bank on General Mattis, and they didn't bank on Donald Trump. They should have saw it coming.
Yep.
The man stepped in and disrupted everything that they wanted to do. Right? General Mattis was like, "No, I won't fucking do that. We're gonna go do something different and win this war in Iraq." Okay. I spent 21 months in Iraq, 2004 and 2006, back when it was Bush shock and all. Let's go do the work, And then all of a sudden, overnight, they were like, "Okay, boys, chains on. We're just a dog barking now." Again, and that's what we were from, I would say, 2006, after we settled down Ramadi, Fallujah, like the Triangle of Death, so to speak. Right. Once we shut that down, we kind of let a lot of things happen that if Donald Trump was in office back then, it wouldn't happen. Right. We wouldn't have been in that war for 20 damn years. And this is not like a campaign promotion for Donald Trump or anything, but the leader that you want is not necessarily the leader that you need, right? And in certain circumstances. So we had some really strong leaders in the Marine Corps back when I served, and I think it was Marcus Luttrell who said, "If you give me 300 Marines, I'll take over Iraq." Just 300. That's all it's going to take. But you got to let them off the chain, right?
Yeah.
And that's the difference. They didn't bank on Donald Trump disrupting their plans for another 4 years. So they had to accelerate in a lot of ways when Sleepy Joe was elected in.
Selected.
I'm gonna show you this real quick.
Fake Joe.
Well, I say elected because I don't want to get you guys flagged any more than you are.
No.
It don't matter.
no,
We
we're
ban
on
it all the
Rumble.
time.
Rumble
Come on, don't even worry about
Rumble
that.
won't flag you.
Yeah.
Rumble's fine, but our YouTube will be taken down because it always
Yes.
is. We'll get
It
banned.
always is.
Our Teespring stuff gets taken down. Jeff made this amazing Julian Assange. Hey, do you have that picture, Jeff?
Yes, I do. Hold on.
Jeff
one
made this
second.
amazing Julian Assange and Donald Trump picture for, Free Assange Day was August 31st.
Yeah.
And so, that's there's a big buildup to that. Where is it at?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now. Hold on one second. And Steven, you still weren't around. I got another idea for another one too. So
Love it.
Yep.
yeah, so don't worry about that. I got an idea for another one. But
Yeah, so
here it
Teespring
is.
bombed this shirt. We tried to put this on a shirt, and then they came back and said that it was not appropriate. What do you think caused
I don't
that?
understand. I don't understand like why that's inappropriate. You get to say whatever you want.
Well,
to say.
I
think
guess
this is great.
Teespring's looking at it as we're using somebody's likeness without their permission, kind of thing. I guess, which I don't think Donald Trump would have any problem with this.
He would probably buy one.
I have. He'll probably wear it at one of the debates. Honestly,
He would.
Yeah.
I have an underground T-shirt maker, and we can get this shit done. As all
Oh,
I'm
that's
saying.
good. But
Love
we were
it.
talking before, like who can
Give
we
me
get
some
this
dough.
maker?
Give me a picture, and we'll get it made.
Yeah.
I promise you.
Awesome.
Yeah, like I said, I have another idea. It was even before you came on too. But I got an idea for another one. It's kind of it's almost similar, but it's yeah.
Well, just keep
Sergeant,
it clean
thank
because
God you
my
weren't
T-shirt-
in there when this
no,
whole
it's-
Qatar
it's-
thing went down.
when what went down? I'm
bullshit-
sorry.
The bullshit Qatar thing went down. My brother-in-law got shipped off to Qatar because he had to process all the refugees, and he's in the Air Force, and he just kind of got dropped off. No man's awful.
So why do we want never-ending wars, right? And this kind of came to mind.
A vital element in keeping the peace is our military establishment. Our arms must be mighty, ready for instant action, so that no potential aggressor may be tempted to risk his own destruction. Our military organization today bears little relation to that known of any of my predecessors in peacetime, or indeed by the fighting men of World War II or Korea. Until the latest of our world conflicts, the United States had no armaments industry. American makers of plowshares could, with time and as required, make swords as well. But we can no longer risk emergency improvisation of national defense. We have been compelled to create a permanent armaments industry of vast proportions. Added to this, 3.5 million men and women are directly engaged in the defense establishment. We annually spend on military security alone more than the net income of all United States corporations. Now, this conjunction of an immense military establishment and a large arms industry is new in the American experience. The total influence, economic, political, even spiritual, is felt in every city, every state house, every office of the federal government. We recognize the imperative need for this development, yet we must not fail to comprehend its grave implications. Our toil, resources, and livelihood are all involved. So is the very structure of our society. In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger.
Scare tactic.
So I think it's important to at least listen to the lead up to that, right? And that's everything. So that way you're not just taking a snippet in the one section of the military industrial complex, because you have to understand what he was talking about beforehand. But that's important because that's what a lot of what goes on in society is these never-ending wars. That's what they were about. You know, if you look at a lot of and this is a conspiracy hole, but if it's not really a conspiracy, if you look down a lot of the companies that these people were involved in, Cheney, the Bushes, they're military companies, and they receive large amount of money and funds from war efforts. Yeah. And why do we want never-ending wars? Because then we can get never-ending funds.
Well, it's like the one video I did not too long ago with the Tonic song "Casual Affair," where I put in there 20 at the top congressmen that invest in these companies, and Mark Meadows happened to be one of them. But yeah, well, also the war in the Middle East. Why were we always in the Middle East bombing? What was the main goal of us being in the Middle East? Oil, right?
No, I mean I don't think so. I think it started out that way, but I think we found a better thing to fight for, which is the cobalt mines in Afghanistan. I think it's a little bit different now because everybody's pushing this electric car bullshit. You need cobalt in order to get it, right? So either way, you're right, Jeff. It's a mineral situation. Yeah. Always has been because they're super rich. Yes.
Resources.
So do you guys know what's going on?
About the electric vehicles, because sitting right behind there is a gas generator that needs to run for the electric. so save the world, people.
Do you guys know the country in Africa right now that just got overran by the military because they had the military said that the election was false? Have you guys been watching that and paying attention to what's going on over there? Because that's the 5th country in Africa that this has happened to in the late time.
Yeah, like there's a lot going on in Africa.
That's the main cobalt situation, right? That's one of the main components. Lithium ion and lithium in Afghanistan, cobalt in Africa. So if you watch any Rogan, I hope you guys watch some Rogan because y'all
love Rogan.
A lot of good perspective. There's a gentleman on there that did a whole profile piece and documentary piece on the cobalt mines in Africa. So when you start electing anything in a situation where you can force people to work for basically nothing, then the people at the top are going to resist at all costs, right? So the
Absolutely.
people at the top can afford to pay for military protections. They can afford to say, okay, look, it's a fraudulent election. Even though the people voted for one thing, they are never going to win. Like, they don't have advanced voting systems like we have. Our advanced voting systems, you'd have to dig in the algorithm to find the cheat, right? Out there, you're putting a blot on a piece of paper. They're doing it like we did it back in the 1800s, right? It's like just simple stuff. And I can only imagine. We can speculate all day, right? We can't even imagine. Can you imagine being a fly sitting in one of those rooms of the people that are having these conversations? I don't know what kind of evil you'd have to be to consider people's lives less than your own, right? And it's just the way that it is.
Well, we already know what kind of evil we're dealing with now. I mean, like I've said before, and I'll say it again. It's like after November 2020, it just, I know with me, I hit a certain point where like, this doesn't seem like Democrat, especially going down all these rabbit holes, especially when you get down the rabbit hole with the children and adrenochrome and all that. And you finally wake up and say, this isn't Democrat versus Republican anymore. This is good versus evil.
It never was.
Really find yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it never was Democrat Republican. That was just their means to divide, right? That was their,
absolutely.
It's just like when you fill out a job application, you have to decline whether or not you want to tell them you're a white person or not. Right? We're the only country that keeps track of any of that shit, right? And that is literally the most racist thing you could possibly do. So when they say systematic racism, I believe that's true. The difference that I see, though, is it's not the direction they think it is, right? So affirmative action has to die. And the reason it has to die is because it served its purpose, just like income tax back in the day. Thanks, Woodrow Wilson, you jackass. Anyway, affirmative action is systematic racism, but it's systematic racism against white males. And this is what I want to write my doctorate thesis on. I'm getting a lot of hate for this, but it has to be said, and it has to be said in an intelligent manner with data backing it, which I've done a ton of research on, by the way. It's put there to put the white male in check, put him at the back of the line in order to let everyone else move ahead. Okay, it did serve its purpose. We did fulfill our diversity quota, if you will. Now it's expired. It's too much now. Like, why are you still doing this? Because it's still on the books as the only law that literally holds someone back because of their race. It just happens. My race and my gender.
Yeah. Let me tell you something.
I'm not mad. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not
mad. No. You're saying
it
all right, and I'm gonna back your claim that it's an attack on the white male, because I am prime example of it. In 2016, 2017, I hit a brick wall. I was homeless. I was living in my truck. And let me tell you something. For them to sit there and say, well, you're a white male, you're privileged. Yeah. Be a white male and go into social services and see what they have for you. They have the bare minimum for you. White male at social services is the minority. They have nothing for you. Food stamps, that's about it. I was in a transition home, and there was a black gentleman, and there was a white girl who had kids, and me. There was a couple other, but there was a lottery to get Section 8. Guess who was the only one that didn't get it? The white male.
Obviously.
So I don't want to hear nothing about your fucking white privilege, government.
Right.
Pardon my language, but you're the minority.
I was having a very in-depth conversation about this privilege situation with my children the other day, because, like I said, Gen Zers, they don't give a shit. Okay, they will say all of the racist stereotypes on the planet, and it's all a joke, and everybody gets it. But they will be the first to stand up to somebody who uses something in a hateful manner, right? So they know the lines. They've drawn new lines altogether. And we were talking about this privilege thing the other day. I was like, I'm a white trash, zero income growing up trailer park boy. You know what I'm saying? I literally, only option I had, joined the Marine Corps. Yes, I was good at baseball. I was a middle of the grade student. I had a broken home. I didn't have a father in the home. So the father in the home stat is important. It's real. Because when you have real men in the home, things tend to fall under their leadership role, you know. But I didn't have that, right? My stepdad was a long haul truck driver, right? So I come from literally nothing. I had two options. It's like, you go get student loans, pay for school, blah, 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 or you join the Marine Corps and you go learn something. That shit made me a man, I promise you. So voluntary service, I kind of fall into that list. I like that idea of 2 years in voluntary service when you graduate high school. Let's teach you a trade. Let's do an aptitude test and find out what you would be good at and what you would enjoy, and let's put them into those roles. That's how we should be using military industrial complex dollars. We should be teaching people how to make our society better when they get out, right? So I'm with you, Jeff. I don't want to hear this bullshit about white privilege because I didn't have any fucking privilege. I didn't have a privilege whenever I got a speeding ticket the other day. Guy treated me like I was a world-class asshole and I was doing like 10 miles over. What's the fucking problem, bud? You know, I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't get out of a ticket. You know, I didn't get ahead. Now, I do have friends, and I'll probably blast him because I want you guys to talk to him. His name's Odie Gray. He works down here in Houston, and he's an entrepreneur trying to get government contracts. Brilliant guy, black gentleman. He walks into the services organizations that help veterans that are doing government contracts put things together, and he says there's a mood shift that I don't think Jeff and I are familiar with. We might feel it if we're sitting in the room. But my question is, why does that happen? Right? Maybe that's what they're referring to. Because I like to put myself in other people's shoes. Maybe when I walk into a room, I just walk into the room. And it's just whatever I need. Here's what I got to do. This is, people work with me on a different level. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I can talk, or charismatic people. We go in and we're conversationalists. But, he walks into a room and he says, it's just like the oxygen changes, like something really weird shift happens. But I was like, I challenge you, to reflect inward and see if that change is you, right? Like if you walk in and just your personal feelings change because, oh crap, I walked into a room full of white people that have the power to give me what I need, right? And they have the power to say no to what I need. So maybe that fear is the shift that he feels. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Me and him, we talk at deep lengths about this stuff because we're intellectual people. Like, we can talk about shit without getting mad at each other because I'm a color a little different than he is, and maybe that's my 1% Congo African, that makes me have some understanding. I don't know. That's a bad joke, and I hope people don't take offense to that. But that's what we do here. We make light of pretty much every situation in this house because that's how we can survive this fucking existence that we're in. That and Amazon packages that get delivered frequently. That's how we survive.
Yep. I was gonna say, I just got one delivered. My dog is going nuts.
They're walking up the driveway right now.
But at least for me, I'm not telling a story that I heard. I'm telling a story from personal experience.
Yeah.
When you go in, like I said, as a white male in social services, when you're in a lobby where you're pretty much the only white male and there's illegal immigrants, you are the last priority. They didn't want to, I'm telling you, they didn't want to do shit for me. Like I said, food stamps they have to give you, but any other assistance as far as like housing or any. Now, here's where it's messed up. Because I was in a shelter and it was in Asbury Park, New Jersey. Now, Asbury Park is my demographic. You do not want to be walking there at night. Let's put it that way. But at the shelter, there's a mix of everybody, and everybody gets along. Now, I made friends with this guy, Billy, whose nickname was Bear. You can imagine he's big guy.
Big guy.
Anyway, black gentleman. Was married, has 2 vehicles, has a house. Now, he's on the books as having all this. I had nothing. I had the clothes on my back. They bent over backwards for him, got him extended housing, cash assistance. Now, mind you, he's legally married, owns a house, has 2 vehicles in his name. They bent over backwards for him. I got nothing. I had to scratch and claw to get everything, to get out of that mess. And let me tell you what, I did use all my resources, and it made me the person I am today, so I don't regret it. And I even, because I make my own videos on my own channel that I'm not going to mention the name of, but it was just, I started out as just me talking to you like this, giving my input on everything going on, my opinion on stuff, or just my day, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like, I said going homeless was probably the best thing that ever happened to me because I never would have met the family in this movement. And just so you know, I did it twice for good measures. I went homeless twice just to make sure I got it right. But I don't regret it. I don't regret it. Because I said before I went homeless again at the beginning of this year, I said, besides the loss of my father and my pets, I said I would do it all over again because I met everybody. Anything material can be replaced. And I've replaced a lot of that, and I don't care about that stuff because again, it can be replaced. But when you lose your pets, when you lose your father, that's the one thing that was not regrettable because I didn't put myself in that position. But it's like, again, like I said, without the loss of them, I do it all over again, and I did. So just for good measure.
So I got a video to add on. I got a video to add for y'all.
All right, here we go. Bring it on, John.
Let's go. I gotta hit the share button first.
Which dragon is this?
I believe that she will win. I believe that she will win.
But no matter how loud they chanted, it wasn't to be. Instead, shock and a stunning defeat for Democrat Hillary Clinton.
Life as we know it's going to be different now.
You're
Volunteers
welcome.
who gave hours
You're welcome.
and even years to Clinton sat in silence. While most pre-election polls pointed toward the first female president, in the end, voters spoke and revealed a larger problem nationwide.
She's a trash
showing
bag.
that there's this huge divide between sort of uneducated whites and minorities and educated whites.
So the savior complex is what he's referring to, right? So you get the rich white liberal women who need to save the black population like they're a lost puppy or something. They don't give them the credit of being human beings in the first place. That's who he's referring to. And this is my problem. Is like how many black people do you know that have come into your life and said, "Hey, I need your help"? Not fucking one. You know why? Because they can do it on their own. They are pandering to a list of people that is about as long as my arm. Okay. And that's what makes this.
I tell you what, especially a lot of these black movies that I've seen, all the women say, "I don't need no man, I can do it myself." So I believe
you said you didn't need help, like you said you didn't need help.
But look at all those long faces.
Yeah,
you would love to go and talk to every single one of them and be like, "You better be lucky she lost."
Yeah, exactly. But they still won't register it though.
If somehow, some way she would have pulled it off, the military would have had to say, "Screw it, we got to do a coup," because they know exactly what they were going to do. So they would have. But
look, I think
here's the thing. Good.
That's probably one of the, whether people will admit it or not, it's probably the best thing that's ever happened to our country. Her losing.
Yeah.
It would have been. Yeah. She lost her merit on Benghazi alone. Period.
Yeah.
Like we
played the clip. We played the clip not too long ago.
Yeah.
I wish they would have interviewed me after she lost. I would have been like, "Well, what does it matter?
Yeah.
What does it matter that she lost?"
She didn't care about our troops. And it was on purpose, right? It wasn't a thing that was just and then lie about it like they do, right? That's the kind of thing that if we know what we signed up for. They say this a lot. This is their talking point on the left. It's like, well, they know what they signed up for. It's like, yeah, we fucking know what we signed up for. But when I call for help, you said you would be there. You said you would save us when we get overrun. I mean, this is not the Alamo. This is not the 1800. We don't have to send a guy on a horse to go get help. We had help an hour away in Tripoli, right? Like it was right there.
And an hour is like how many hours in real time? It feels like forever.
It was literally a drone circling above the situation. What the fuck are we doing here? I can't distinguish the enemy. Everybody fucking shooting at you, dude. This is your enemy. So the problem is the United States government became the enemy that night, right? I mean, you killed my brothers. You killed them in Afghanistan. Every chance you get for a scene, they make a scene and they kill my friends. You know what I'm saying? This is the shit that pisses me off because even now, I'll let you get to it, Jeff. Even now, there's a strategy in place for veterans that I know to put a gun in their face, every single day, right? And it's like, it's because they can't get what they need from the Veterans Administration. 2009, I got out of the Marine Corps. Last Friday was the first real mental health appointment that I've had not for lack of trying, that I've had to address
Right.
my post-traumatic stress disorder on a systematic level. I've been pushed pills. I've been talked to like I was a fucking child for years. I've been told that I didn't have PTSD. What happened to you didn't really happen. I've been told that. So the VA has already paid a lawsuit to me one time, and I think they're on the verge of another. But my problem that I have with these people is even after, right, you're so worthless to these people, even after the fact, they will not address the things that they did to you. So it's easier just to take the other route, you know? Speaking of, like, Jeff, I'll let you make your point. But then I want to continue on to this path a little bit afterwards, because this is what Wortham
No,
Armory is going to
absolutely.
do. Yeah.
This is what people need to know. What you now? I have a friend, Pat. He was in Iraq. He had an IUD blow up next to him. You know, so you could tell he's still Pat, but he's not the Pat before it happened. You know what
How
I'm
could
saying?
you? Yeah. How could he be? Like,
Yeah,
there's no way.
and he always had to fight the VA. Now, is people who run the VA, who runs the VA? Is it people that have been there? For somebody to tell you at the VA that you don't have PTSD, have they ever been in combat?
100% no. 100%
Yeah.
no. They are interns. They're not even real doctors. They're RNs. They're PCNs. They're physician's assistants. Right. I see an actual doctor when I have a surgery. You know, but the thing is like in 09, when I got out, I had to have spinal fusions. I got a shoulder replacement, and kind of just generally fucked up. You know, I've got a lidocaine patch on my knee right now because it's swollen so bad it hurts like hell. But all service connected, right? But the first thing they want to say is it's not service connected. You have to prove that it's service connected disability. And one of the things that I'm focused on as I build out Wortham Armory in this manufacturing facility is hiring veterans from the Bryan College Station area, or even paying folks to move to Bryan College Station, which is a great area. Right? I'd love to move people in, advocate for them on every level while they're dealing with the Veterans Administration. And then at the same time, you know, teaching Aggies, you know, an entirely new industry. That's another major competitive component of what we're doing. So, yeah, you're scrolling through my website right now. It's pretty cool. I appreciate that. I'm working with. You're gonna go there. You're gonna see some when you check out. There's gonna be some really large shipping charges, and I think that's because I haven't specifically laid out how big each package is. So the shipping needs to be recalculated through the UPS or whatever.
John, can you drop that? Can you drop his link in the chat?
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Of course I can.
So the website
Sergeant,
is.
how long did it take you to get your final diagnosis and for your injury?
Oh my God,
and
yeah. I think I got my full 100% in 2020 in June, I think is what it was. And then I am up for a review in June of 2024 to decide whether or not it's going to be a permanent and total diagnosis. So if you get a 100% permanent and total, that's kind of the holy grail. That's the VA finally admitting that they cannot fix your PTSD, your migraines, your shoulder, and things like that.
my sister has that.
Yeah, so that's what you go for as a leader of a family or a veteran coming out, because the benefits in Texas are endless. Like, all of my kids can go to public university for free. Our tuition is paid. Okay, my wife can go get her degrees again, and I can continue my education all for free in conjunction with the Hazelwood Act, you know, and scholarship. But
my
on top
sister's
of that,
on
right,
permanent disability from the Air Force because when she got back from Afghanistan, she was extremely sick. And for 3 years, she was tossed around between military hospitals and military doctors. And they finally, after 3 years, said that she had lupus from being in those bad conditions in Afghanistan.
That's horrible.
And because people don't realize the conditions you're under, she had no sleep, and she had to bring the pilots in the country cash because when you're over and fighting, she was the officer, so she had to have, you know, secret agents come to the pilots and bring them cash to buy their fuel. So she would have, like, you know, like you see in the movies, like the handcuffed around her with the cash, literally. and they would have to pay for locals to follow them because the Afghanistan people would put mines there, and she witnessed a guy get a head blown off in front of her. So she has all sorts of stories, but when she came back, she was extremely sick, and it took 3 years for them to diagnose her. Get this, at 28 years old, she went on permanent disability because she went to Ohio State and did ROTC, so she came out immediately as an officer, and went immediately over to Afghanistan for 1.5 years and came back and was extremely sick. We didn't think she was going to make it, and finally diagnosed her with lupus. So she's currently on permanent disability. Get this, the Air Force hired her back as a civilian doing her job as a civilian. So, because when you're on permanent disability, you can't work, you can only do part-time. So she's doing part-time for them, but she's a civilian, which is good because she doesn't have to do PT and all that stuff. And she can leave when she can leave, leave. And now she's actually working from home.
I would speak and interject and probably say she should probably talk to a lawyer. And the reason I say that is because when you have a service-connected disability, even if you're 100% permanent in total, you are entitled to work as much as you want. It is completely separate from an actual American disability situation where you're dealing with, social services. The Veterans Administration should be paying her if she's got a family with 3 kids or whatever. I don't know what her situation is.
She's got 3 kids.
There's $4,200 a month for a 100% disabled veteran. Okay. That's a living wage. That's a really good wage. But the thing is they can't take away from that. That's yours permanently forever. So while you get that money, every kid that leaves your household and becomes an adult, it goes down $100 or whatever. But when it's all said and done, me and Rebecca will pocket, $4,000 a month for the rest of our lives. But that's because I have a prosthetic shoulder and spinal fusions. I can still work and make $150K a year for the rest of my life at my normal job. I can still diversify my retirement portfolios. I can still do everything that anyone does that has no disability whatsoever, because that 100% disabled veteran disability classification does not disqualify you from anything. As a matter of fact, it qualifies you. Yeah. So what you could do is if she were to start an LLC, she could get her service-connected disabled veteran small business certification like I have, and there are government set-asides where all you have to do is apply for the contract, even if it's like making bed sheets, classify, contract that out to someone out here in the, in the States or whatever, and you win that contract immediately. It's called a set aside, right? So there are things that, this is what I want to help with, right? You got veterans that have, just like Jeff, when you walked into that place, you felt so fucked up because they know you're entitled to the thing. You don't know what questions to ask. They will only help certain people with those answers, right? You have to go in and know what questions to ask, what to ask for specifically. Otherwise, they're not going to tell you. You don't fit the demographic, sir. So what they'll do is they'll put you over here on the side and keep you at least, here's your whatever, while they're helping the other person benefit in a big way, right? It's like the only difference in the treatment is they're helping them by telling them what questions to ask. That's why I do the Veterans Small Business Association, and you be a member of your local municipalities and stuff, because they will help you ask the right questions. If we don't know how to ask the right questions, we're never going to win, guys.
So I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
So I know we had talked about previously, and I know Jeff and Cami weren't there, but you had spoken about your nonprofit organization.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk more about that?
Yeah, I mean, we were doing Camp Lyle for a while there. I was sitting on the board of Camp Lyle, which is this angel of an old man, right? Old veteran that is trying to, when he passes, which unfortunately should be soon. I mean, he's an older gentleman and has kind of some sickness, but he wants to donate his land to a cause, right? For Marines, because he's a badass old Marine, right? So what he wants us to do is take over his land, build some sort of Marine Corps, Army, veteran type situation, or even active duty, where you can just come out, camp with your kid. If you want to come out and mow grass, because I don't know about y'all, but that shit makes me relaxed, drive the tractor around with your kid and teach him how to mow grass or bale hay, or, take over the land basically and be stewards of the land while helping vets get back in contact with themselves, and there's fishing ponds and The only thing he requests is like, don't turn it into like a gun range or anything like that.
Right,
It's
right.
like, okay,
Yeah.
well, yeah, that's agreeable. And we have to let his wife kind of live out her days on the property undisturbed, which, it's like a 55-acre property in, Southeast Texas,
Wow.
northwest of Houston, about an hour. So the org itself was made up of John Beatty, who commissioned the statue in front of the Texas Capitol. And regrettably, he passed away recently. So one of our board members had passed away. Really, really amazing people. But myself and Nick Hedeman were kind of heading this thing up. Then COVID hit, disaster hit everything, right? So Nick, being the pro charger that he is, he sold his house, took his daughters and his wife, bought an RV. He's been traveling the country ever since. So getting in touch with him is kind of difficult these days. So I'm not sure how far we're going to go with that, John, to be honest with you. I haven't heard, it's been kind of crickets lately. Lyle's still alive. He's still kicking. So, I mean, I think that's a good thing, but we need to work on the tax abatements and things like that for the 501c and then go from there. That's kind of the stage we're in is collecting information on how to file those taxes properly without costing his wife any money in the long term, right? So if we need to purchase the land from her, that's fine too. We'll do that, right? The whole key is just to support her until her dying day, per his wishes, right? So, and then help vets, man. When she's gone, do whatever the hell you want to with it, except gun range. So I think that's a fair request, I believe. But
yeah,
I think it's going to be great. I thank you for asking the question because now it's going to spark me to get on the phone with a couple people today and ask them, well, how are we doing? Is everybody still alive? Is everybody good? All right, so let's rekindle this fire because that's it's kind of just on hold, which is sad. But I'm working with other. Oh my God, yeah. So I'm working with other charities as well, right? Boots for Troops here in Houston, fantastic. I don't know if you guys have heard about them at all, but Jimmy Rogers is a sailor. He's got his own podcast. It's a Sailor Jimmy podcast. He's really good at what he does. He's a entertainer, promoter. He owns several ticket companies. He owns companies of Valor tickets. But what he does is he has a website out there at bootsfortroops.org. Active duty service members can go online and fill out a brief list of all the things that they think are fucking cool. And if they're forward deployed, a company like mine, say Accenture, we're going to be hosting an event soon, right? And that event is we're going to pass out lists for each of those military service members. We pass out a list, their wish list, right, for a care package. We pass those lists out to our different business units. They go out, collect the goods, and then after a certain period of time, so you set 3 weeks on it or a month or whatever, then you have this giant packing party, right, where you can get the news out there and everybody involved that can promote the business and the charity that we're running. And then Boots for Troops will then take all the packages and then ship them overseas to wherever the service member is serving. So that, to me, that's been fun. I mean, and every year we have this annual gala where they raise hundreds of thousands of dollars. I mean, they've gone to a point where they started out really, really small, and now they're just growing beyond compare. So we got some excellent investors like Planet Forward 59 in Houston, Moffitt Services and folks like that have gotten involved. Really big Fallow Construction, really big companies here in Houston. So everybody, we did an event with them at HP back in 2020, I believe, right before the pandemic, and our packing party just happened to be around Christmas, right? So it turned out to be like this really inspirational type thing. I had like 300 people showed up to pack I think it was 370 gift packages valued at about $350 a piece, right? So, and then Boots for Troops throws in a free pair of boots. So this is the good thing about it, right? Is like if you're a cowboy, you like cowboy boots, pick your brand of boots. They'll pick you a pair of boots. If you want combat boots for like your actual job while you're in the military, they'll buy those for you too, right? They'll just put a pair of boots in there, and everything else is kind of donated from the general public. If you're a Cowboys fan, I'm sorry, they'll put a whole bunch of Cowboys shit in your box and they'll send it to you. If you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan, I don't think they even read your shit. I think they just kind of write.
My roommate My roommate's an Eagles fan. She's from
Oh
Philly.
shit, man. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
So then that's
Sergeant,
why-
I'm glad you brought that up because what people don't know, and I'm glad, so happy you brought this up because with my sister, when she was deployed, we asked her what her and her fellow Air Force, people that she was around, what they wanted and so we could send them. And believe it or not, they all wanted this particular Chex Mix. It was like a cookie Chex Mix. Yeah. So we actually, my sister-in-law and I called the Chex Mix company because on all the bags, they have their number. And we said, listen, my sister is in the Air Force. She's deployed over in Afghanistan. Would you mind donating us some bags? And they did it. They sent us coupons in the mail. And we went to the local store and they sent us like 20 free coupons for bags. And you can do that. People don't understand that companies are willing to do that. You just have to call and say, hey, whoever's deployed or whatever, or we just want to send this to the military. And believe it or not, people think that a lot of companies are liberal, but it's who's on the phone. They have a good heart. They're going to send it to you.
Yeah, they set aside funds for these particular reasons, right? I remember back in the day when I was first started at HP, and it doesn't have to be military related either, right? I went to a Kroger in town, and the giant tornado had hit Rowlett up in the Dallas area and like destroyed everything, right? So I went to my local HEB and Kroger, and they each donated like half a truckload of water on the spot. And the store manager was like, yes, I'll write it off right now. They helped me load it. We strapped it down, and I headed north on 45. So it was, companies are more willing to do good than we give them credit for.
Absolutely.
All we see is the negativity in the news about the people cleaning out, with the big money checks and stuff. I think they don't do it just from the kindness of their hearts either. I mean, they want their name on it, which is okay. It's good. But Girl Scouts of America,
they have to have their tax write-off. So donating 20 bags to the military is, another good tax write-off for them. And so, but people don't know that. 90% of people don't know that. I'm like, call and you can get companies to donate for you so you can send it off to the military, whoever's deployed. People don't know that.
Yeah, I told the folks at Booster Troops, like I was kind of like, they were telling me about these care packages, how elaborate and cool they were. And I was like, man, this is bullshit. I sat back in my chair, tossed my pen down. They're like, why? What are you talking about? I was like, well,
I didn't get one of these. No.
When I was in Iraq, it was 115 degrees on the flight line by 10 a.m. It's like, I got hot chocolate. Like what?
Chocolate.
The heart of America. I love you. Thank you for this hot chocolate, but it's fucking hot out here. I don't need this.
I know.
And then, the Girl Scouts of America dropped a whole pallet of just cookies on us.
That's awesome.
We were in kind of a distribution situation. I think we kept more than we probably should. We were a bit greedy on the cookies, but we gave them out, and it was funny because they became they became like a bargaining token, if you will. Like, so if I needed something extra from supply, I would take a whole bunch of cookies over there. I'm like, hey, I need a new K-bar, I need a new knife or a benchmade knife or a new pair of boots. Yeah, for sure.
Like I said, she was over in Afghanistan for 1.5 years, and we always asked her, we said, ask around to all your buddies, what do they want? And we wrote a list down, and we sent packages with everything that they wanted. And 90% of it was donated by the companies that we would call.
Fantastic.
And then obviously, so like I said, and more people need to do that and realize that you can do that. So
I want to talk a little bit about like all that falls in, right? It falls into where I'm going with my company, right? So Wortham Armory, what you saw online there a while ago, John, that's what I do just to keep my brand alive and pay, for the branding, right? And the branding is just that I buy ammunition at wholesale and I sell it for retail. I'm flipping ammo. That's what WorthamArmory.com does. What Wortham Armory is something totally different. So there are 4 major primer manufacturers in this country, right? And primer is,
let's go.
So the back of it, a round, right? The little thing with the dimple in the middle, that's where the fire strikes, right? So that's a primer. There are only 4 companies in this country that make primers on scale, right? It's Remington, CCI, Federal, and Winchester. But Vista Outdoors owns all of those except for Winchester. So what happened back in 2020 with the big ammo shortage and the price increase and everybody freaking the fuck out for good reason. I had a ton of research on this, right? And so what happened was Federal went out of business. Vista Outdoors came in to buy them, and it took them about 18 months to get back online and produce those primers. Well, the three ways that these things work is the big four are basically federal government entities. They serve the federal government contracts for the military. They serve it for police forces and things like that first. So all the primers go there first. Secondarily, the guys like Hornady and Wilson Combat and people that make their ammo on the side, Southern Munitions, those folks get the scraps, the leftovers, right? Whenever they're all said and done. So it's a very difficult thing to do and extraordinarily expensive to build an ammunition manufacturing plant that also builds primers. But I don't give a shit. That's what I'm going to do, right? So I've been in touch with the city of Bryan. I met with the mayor. I've got a huge backing financially, and all it's going to take is about $100 million. So that sounds like a lot, but it's not. I mean, the plant's going to make that money back in a year and a half, easy. So I think what we could do is corner the market on all of the other small arms ammunition manufacturers and supply them exclusively. Not to give them free publicity, but Strategic Armory Corps out of Arizona is building in Bryan, Texas, an Armalite manufacturing plant. So what they're doing out there is they're putting in this giant facility. They're going to need a lot of ammunition for testing. Well, they have 202 acres out there in Bryan. Well, all I need is a couple. So I'm thinking I could, squeeze in there and supply them exclusively for test ammunition. So I've got a first customer kind of lined up already. I've had these conversations. So that's the business model, building a primer and ammunition manufacturing facility in Bryan, Texas, or College Station, whoever comes up with the best tax break, right? Caldwell's in the mix as well as Waller. So I've got all these companies, these government entities interested, and I've got private backing and public backing that are very interested. So I'm going to be merging the private sector and the public sector and pulling in a little bit of government. I'm going to meet with the Texas state representatives for the area and kind of talk through what their position is on this, right? So they'll love it. They'll love to get reelected. So they're going to buy in for sure. But I'm not doing this for, I'm talking about CEOs and companies doing the right thing, right? I'll believe the shit when I see the shit, right? So I won't pay myself $1 million a year, even if my name's all over the building, even if it's my product on the shelf at Academy. I don't need that, right? What my family needs is Jesus, okay? What my family needs is Jesus and enough
Amen,
food to
brother.
survive, okay?
Amen.
So I was having some really interesting thoughts the other night over a scotch, which I don't know if that's dangerous or not, but yeah, I was thinking, I was like, well, the reason that most people complain about companies these days is they're fucking greedy. Well, no, it's not the company, it's the people that are greedy. So if I took a salary for running the company, it's a big job, say 80 hours a week. So if I take 200K, let's just call it 200K instead of, whatever, that maintains my lifestyle and makes everybody a little bit wealthier, happier, whatever. I bring in veterans in transition that are in really troublesome situations that might just want to put a gun in their face, right? I want to take those veterans, give them a new mission. I'm playing with the idea, and I don't know if my investors are going to like this or not, but I want to have a base minimum salary of $100,000 for every employee, from janitor all the way across the board. The reason I want to do that is because I'm not a greedy son of a bitch, and I've got people that I need to take care of. Every veteran that comes out, money is the number one concern. Yeah. Relocation to a new location on top of a location, but you don't have a guaranteed paycheck. That's a problem, right? The other thing I want to address, right, is like their mental health capabilities. If people are struggling with certain things, I have an intellectual knowledge that it took me 10 years to accumulate. I got out in 2009. I struggled mightily, and all my talks and education since then has led me to a place where I can pull people out of some darkness, and I love that about myself. I'm a mentor by heart. A leader, is strong, but a mentor is super important. So I want to mentor some people. I want to hire interns from the college, right? A&M is right there. Blaine College is right there. We're close to Waco, where the wackos live, and then we're close to Austin as well. So you can pull all these people in, right? And you can say, okay, I'm going to teach Central Texas an entirely new industry. We don't do this shit here, okay? Texas is independent in so many ways, but when it comes to, if we've got to put up walls tomorrow to defend ourselves from everybody else, we would have to import our ammunition from out of state. Unacceptable, in my opinion, and we're going to fix it. We're getting close. I've got the numbers in the back, and as soon as I get some permit type situations cleared up, which shouldn't be too hard. All I need is a building and a location to put on the application forms, because the ATF won't take my garage as an acceptable reason. Because, you know, you're working with high explosives, it tends to be a little
Right.
hairy. So there are stipulations that we can meet, that we have met, and I'm waiting to drop those licenses because they're very expensive licenses to acquire. I'm waiting until we have an address to put on there that they can come and inspect. So we're looking at about $100 million, guys. There's a guy up in Idaho, Boise, Idaho, outside of Boise. I'm going to go tour his plant. He's trying to do the same exact thing, but he's doing it for the state of Idaho. Right? So he's trying to do exactly what I'm doing. He's already got everything laid out. He's got some formulas we may share on the success rate and how he's going to do his. Or he's already got it 90% built. He's already 60 million in. So if he can do it, my ever-ending drive, I can do this shit. This is easy. Right? I'm a project manager and a process engineer, and I've got a little education. I've got a lot of patience, and I've been shot at before, so I can handle all this bullshit. This
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but that's what Wortham Army's going to do, and I really appreciate you guys letting me talk about it. It's like, it's not really a pitch; it's more like a call to arms. Like I need people from that industry to come down here and show me how to build ammunition. Like I'll know how to maximize efficiency on each line, but I don't know how to mix together the primer mixture before the anvil goes in and gets stamped and sealed. I don't know what that looks like. What I do know is, like, okay, if that's running at a rate of 60 per minute and it should be running at 250 a minute, I can do the math, figure out how to make that machine run faster to keep up with everything else. But that's me. I know what I don't know. If someone gave me $100 million tomorrow, I'd be bankrupt in 4 years because I don't know how to manage that level of money. My personal finances are awesome, but that's only because I stay on top of it. But I'm not a finance CFO, right? I need a CFO that's going to go raise some money, not take a salary, but work off of kind of, you take a percentage of what you bring me. That kind of person. I have a few investment groups that are basically circling, and they're like, okay, I'm ready to pick this thing up. And Arthur Lyons out of Houston, Texas is going to be, look out for that name. Okay. Arthur Lyons, he's going to be he's coming onto the stage as one of the major money guys in Houston, Texas. And I think me and him we're going to do okay. He's coming to the poker night. I got a poker night next Wednesday. So we'll see if I can't schmooze him and pour some honey in his ear and get this thing done, But we are so damn close. Cammy, Jeff, John, I don't know if I could tell you. One tip is all it's going to take. When this thing tips over, you won't see me for a while. Hopefully, maybe I'll do a podcast from the production floor as people are setting shit up around.
That would be awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, right.
Hey, we're counting on that. We're holding that team.
I would love to go up there to see that. Not gonna
Bro,
lie.
yes.
Yeah.
We can do it from my office up there, man. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to rent an apartment or something in College Station or Ryan, because I live in Cypress. Right? We live on the outskirts of Houston, and I don't want my kids to change schools. I don't want to move them. I got a senior and 2 sophomores, and then I got a fucking 8-year-old. Like, how did that even happen? I don't know, but
that is one of the best districts around.
Yeah, he's delaying everything. But my kids are in Cy-Fair, and 2 of my kids live with, we share 50-50 with their mom down in Katy, right? So they're in Katy ISD at Jordan High School, which is a brand new high school, like 3 or 4 years old. Then 2 of my kids, my bonus kids, my non-bio kids, they go to Cy-Fair. So both great schools, both excellent opportunities, and it doesn't matter what they do with their high school education. They're working for me when they're done because I need help. So we'll see what happens.
Oh, by the way, Steven had to leave, but he's texting me and he said just to let you know that he now works in College Station.
Shit, we're gonna have to get some lunch or something, man. It's on him.
Cool.
Tell him it's on him, though. Okay, I've got to finance the building, So it's kind of,
That's true.
So, but yeah, I'm probably gonna have to sign off pretty soon as well. I mean, an hour and a half is a long time for a man to talk, especially one that doesn't appreciate talking on the phone. But it feels like I've been working all day and I've only been here for an hour and a half. But what can I leave you guys with?
So much, Sergeant, coming on and sharing all what you shared. And I'm so sorry about your injuries. And I appreciate that you went to war for us and you sacrificed a lot.
Thank you, Cammy. I mean, my injuries paid for the beautiful home we sit in because I don't pay property taxes. My injuries paid for my master's degree. It'll pay for my doctorate. It'll pay for my kids' education. I'll gladly do it again in a heartbeat. I've never lived a day since 2004 without pain. I haven't had a good night's sleep since then, and I mean that legitimately. Sometimes I hurt, but I'll tell you what, there's nothing in this world that's worth it more than that. I mean, I'll trade myself because I'm a service-minded individual. Acts of service is my love language, and that's what I'll do till the day I die. And if it puts my kids in a better situation to break generational curses, that's what I do. So,
absolutely, amen. And that's incredible. You're really an awesome servant of God.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
So Terry from the chat said it's small world. Her and her hubby went to Cy-Fair High School.
Oh, no kidding. Well, this is interesting because my kids go to Cy-Fair, but I grew up so poor. I went to Cold Spring ISD, which is about 40 miles northwest of, I'd say, Cleveland, right? So, well, not that far.
Really?
Probably about 10 or 15.
I was born in Akron.
No shit. No, I'm talking about Cleveland, Texas. Everybody makes that same mistake.
Everybody says that.
Everybody
but
says
you know
that.
what? That's funny because we have a Canton, Georgia, and there's also a Canton, Ohio.
Yeah, there's a Canton, Mississippi. That's where I bought my bloodhound.
Yeah, I've never been to Texas. Sorry, I've never been. Actually, I've never been on the West Coast, so
I've never. That's like before in the chat. Mad Dog said something about Salem, and I knew automatically he meant Salem, Oregon, and Boston J.
I was thinking North Carolina. Oh yes, Massachusetts. Yeah, that's the whole thing. I'm thinking, like, why is he going over to Massachusetts? He lives all the way over in Oregon. That's what I was thinking.
That's like for so many years. It's like you always think when you hear Ontario, you think Ontario, Canada. And then all of a sudden, I started hearing Ontario, California. So anytime I hear Ontario, I always think California.
Nice, yeah.
Portland, Maine. I always thought Portland, Maine, and then all of a sudden, I moved out to Portland, Oregon. I was there for 5 years. Thank God I'm out of there. Thank God I'm out of there.
Well, the Pacific Northwest has been a garbage chute for a long time, and no offense to anybody, but here's my problem: is when the Chaz thing was going down. I don't know if you remember that when they basically occupied an entire city.
That's Seattle.
That event has been erased from all media coverage in the history of mankind.
Talk about domestic terrorism.
Yes. I looked at my Rebecca straight in the face, and I'm like, "Baby, I have to go kill these motherfuckers." And she was like, "Honey, why?" I was like, "Well, they're burning down businesses and shit." And she looked at me dead in the face. She was like, "The business owners are the ones that raised these motherfuckers."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Let them have it. I don't give a fuck." Like if you come down to Cypress, Texas, and you start fucking with people for no reason, you're gonna get the business in. But if you made this happen when you raise your kids with such gingerly love and care, and you don't teach them a fucking thing, right? Like it's terrible.
I say it's the trophy generation. They expect a trophy just for showing up to the game.
Well, that's like when people heard that, oh my God, you're in Portland. I was in Milwaukee, Oregon, which is the southernmost part of Portland, but everything that was going on was on the west side.
Yeah.
I was on the east side. Don't get me wrong. You saw the kids dressed up in all black with the black backpacks and all that. You see them here and there, but everything was going. And let me tell you what, man, in 2020, it was all Trump stuff out there. All Trump stuff. Still to this day, there's Trump. It's all Trump.
Well, they saw what can happen when a little bit of anarchy gets tossed in there, right? I mean, when you've got all these people reading Karl Marx and shit like that, and it's like they believe the things that they're reading about socialism, and then that's the actual formal way we should be conducting our business. I live in a constitutional republic. You are going to have to take it from me, either by force or through the ballot box. And the problem that we have is we can't trust either anymore. I can't trust my force because I'm old and tired. My back hurts. And I can't trust the voter booth because I don't know who the fuck makes this shit, So all you can do is collect. And collect is pull your shit together, maintain a position at your home for at least 120 days until shit can blow over. And then you're going to have to move and take shit from other people. That's just the way this is going to have to go.
I don't know if you remember, what's his name? He was a college professor, very liberal. Was it Brett Weinstein or something like that?
With a name like that, I can only imagine. Yeah.
I think it was Brett Weinstein. He was like a college professor, but he was, I remember watching the video in 2020. This is when all that civil unrest was going on. And he sat down like on a Zoom call with like 4 or 5 black people. He goes, "Do you realize the Democrat Party is setting black people up?" He goes, "They're sending you into white, suburban, and rural areas that are heavily well armed. They're making them white people out to be the bad guy. They're sending you in there knowing that you look what they're sending. Basically, like they're sending you black people into a slaughter because they're making these white people out to be the bad guy right now. And you're going to go, they have trillions of rounds." And it's like, how well do you think that's going to end for you?
Yeah.
And again,
Well,
this comes from a guy who's very liberal, but he was trying to defend, he was trying to warn these black people, the Democrat Party is setting you up.
Well, we've been set up against each other for so long. We can't even tell the difference, right? Like they made they made black people out to be the bad people, right? So here's my problem.
That's what I try to tell them.
BLM is a terrorist organization, hands down, right?
Hands down.
Just because of the research that we've done, they're terrible people. But the problem that we saw is they air online or on the news or Fox and all this other bullshit. It's all bullshit now. Stop watching it. It's bullshit. So my thing is Fox News said that they caught one person that got super overly excited, a black female. It's like, "We're coming to your suburban neighborhoods. We're going to come in there and we're going to take us in." I was in fear for the simple fact that I might have to shoot an American. You know, I don't want to do that. So we whenever that came out, we were living down in Katy at the time. We got in the truck. We patrolled the area. Nothing. There's nothing. It's fear. You know, and we went down and I checked on my kids down at their mom's house. It's nothing. It's fear. Their mom is anti-gun, right? That was weird, right? But I told her, "Here, you have to put this Glock, put it in your closet. If anybody comes in, all you got to do is point and shoot." You know, and she did it because she was scared. So scared to the point where she went against her beliefs and put a gun in her house, right? So they scared the shit out of both sides, and they do it on purpose. It's going to continue as long as we believe it, right? So the thing that I love the most is like this one independent journalist showed this black man standing in between the Proud Boys crowd, is what they were calling them, and the BLM crowd. And he was standing there, had a shirt on that said "Free Hugs." He walked up and he hugged both sides.
I remember seeing that.
So with people like that, that guy is a leader. That guy is the kind of guy that's going to lead us out of this bullshit. And I think unless we start really harmonizing with each other, and I think a lot of the problem, I'm libertarian. Both sides piss me off because there's no logic. But what I saw is like there's one side is very disgusting, and one side is not willing to get into the trenches to be just as disgusting. Here's the problem. If Republicans want to beat the Democrat Party, they have to get just as filthy as the Democrat Party. I'm not willing to allow my people to do that. It's erosion.
Again, it's weird that you say that too, because yesterday it's like I saw a meme and it was Democrat, Republican. The Democrat was stabbing you in the chest and the Republican was stabbing you in the back. And it's like, that's so accurate, you know? But just
Very
like you said before, it's like, that's what I try to tell some of my black friends. I was like, do you realize not too long ago, the media made you out to be the bad guy? And I have a clip. I don't know if you ever heard of Opie and Anthony. They were mostly East Coast, but you got to watch this video. It's called Racist News Edit for a reason. If you got a couple minutes, Sergeant Wortham.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah. Let me cue it up here.
Yeah.
So my neighbor, she's black and her husband's white, and they're and he was in Iraq, and he's extremely PSTD. And before you cue that up, Jeff, she was not really into politics. And this is during the thing. I said, "Who y'all's voting for?" She goes, "Oh, we're going to vote for Biden." I go, "Well, you know, he says you're not black if you don't vote for him. Is that why you're voting for him?" Because we were very close. She goes, "He said that?" And I said, "Yeah, he said that." And she goes, "Oh, no." Yeah. She goes, "Oh, no." She goes, "No one's going to tell me I'm not black." And I was like, "Well, then start listening."
All right. So check this out.
Let's check it.
I know, but that's the one thing that, if you've been watching lately, which we have been, because we talked about it the other night, Cammie, the amount of black people finally waking up is glorious. It's about time. But here, check this out.
Use it. CBS News in Chicago is misleading and possibly racist. What?
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
I wonder who the
They do a story about a shooting, talking to a 4-year-old on the street. Why is there a 4-year-old on the street?
Well,
Why is there a 4-year-old on the street? Travis, you're a parent. I'm a parent. I can't even imagine having my kid go, "Hey, have fun."
Is there a parent around?
Was there a parent close by, or is there just a 4-year-old on the street?
What's it, in Chicago?
Yeah.
It's probably just on the street.
Probably just on the street. That's racist.
Meantime, 2 teenagers are wounded on the city's south side. It happened at East 74th.
Baddest part of town.
An 18-year-old man and 16-year-old girl were hit while standing on the sidewalk. The male's in good condition while the girl's expected to recover. And kids on the street, as young as 4, were there to see it all unfold and had a disturbing reaction.
No, I'm not scared of nothing.
When you get older, you gonna stay away from all these guns?
No.
No?
No.
What do you want to do when you get older?
I'm gonna have me a gun.
That is very scary indeed. So far, no suspects are in custody.
That's
a 4-year-old?
They don't learn that. It's just inherent.
No, that's not true.
Oh, really? Literal Jim? Yes, of course.
Why are they being called racist for just showing the girl talking?
Yeah, I don't
He was a
know
boy.
yet.
I'm all having.
Why is it racist?
Well, they played the interview out of context.
Oh.
Why?
Why?
What's the context?
They cut off the end of the interview.
What did he say?
What did he say? Psych?
Well, we have the clip.
Oh, okay.
We have the entire clip in context.
That's right.
Like that.
Oh,
Doing your homework.
I didn't realize.
Oh, God. Yeah, that guy. Oh, shit.
I mean, PH.
Yeah, of course.
That's true. When you get older, you gonna stay away from all these guns?
No.
No?
No.
What do you want to do when you get older?
I'm gonna have me a gun.
You are? Why you want to do that? You know what happens when
I'm gonna be the police.
Okay, well then you can have one.
What the fuck?
The fucking media really is sickening.
He said he go be the police.
Yep.
Let's go.
See how the media
that
manipulates everything?
Yep. And that was not too long ago. That was in the 2000s. That was not too long ago where they made black community out to be the bad guy. There you go, right there. He said he's going to be the police, and they cut it right off.
This is why I'm going to the middle of nowhere. No one will know where I'm at. I'm done.
Yep.
Like I can't do it with these fucking liars, man. And
I
think
know.
about it. Hypocrisy is my number one pet peeve. If you lie to my face and I catch you in a lie and you continue to lie, I know who you are. I am fine with that. But if you lie to me and lie to me and lie to me, you keep switching and moving things around to try to confuse me and doing the same thing on the other side that you're calling the other side out for, you can all go to hell. This is all bullshit, you know? So I'm in a situation where I'm so tired. I'm tired of thinking about the ways that I'm getting screwed over, the tax rates and the sales tax on top of the sales tax on top of the everything, right? It's like the middle class is not, we're under attack, have been for a long time. And they think that we just don't deserve to live. There has to be 2 classes, the upper class and the no class, right? Which is the ones down at the very bottom that aren't in the B's by their name. Billionaires are the top class. And the rest of us are just garbage.
Right here, I shared this not too long ago. This is from Malcolm X, and this was how long ago was this? The media is the most powerful entity on earth. They have the power to make the innocent guilty and to make the guilty innocent, and that's power because they control the minds of the masses. That's Malcolm X saying that.
Big brother.
Yep. Hey, you know what?
He knew.
You know what? That's fucking racist, man. I can't be all your racist program. This is terrible.
Watch this. I got a 1-minute video.
Don't worry, I hate white people too. So
oh my God. I hate everybody.
So if you were in charge of NATO, if you were, say, Joe Biden, what would your next move be in the war in Ukraine? What would you do?
Peace, immediately. Call back Trump. That's the only way.
Call back Trump.
Because you can criticize for many reasons. I understand all the discussion, but the best foreign policy of the recent several decades belonged to him. He did not initiate any new war.
Yes.
He treated nicely the North Koreans and Russia, even the Chinese. Facts count, and his foreign policy was the best one for the world in the last several decades I have seen. And if he would have been the president at the moment of the Russian invasion started, no, it would be not possible to do that by the Russians. So Trump is the man who can save the Western world and probably the human beings in the globe as well.
That's scary,
Wow.
though, right? When you think about it, that's a lot of power for one individual. And I think
Whoa! And just the first thing out of his mouth was "call back Trump."
Yeah.
How deep is that?
You give it back to someone who doesn't want it. That's who you give the power to someone that didn't want it in the first fucking place. You just wanted to fix it. So
see, and that's like that's what the sheep don't understand, or the normies, is that there were 0 wars under Trump. But I put this out on Truth last night. It's just part of it. It's funny that you look at the people that are cheering for Trump's arrest. Haha, yeah, he tried to overturn the election. He should be arrested, but yet they're the same people that were defending Hillary, who was trying to overturn an election for how many years? But yet they'll defend her.
Yeah, the hypocrisy for me, man. I even called out my family members when Trump lost to Biden. They were like, yeah, it was stolen. It was stolen. I was like, y'all sound like a bunch of fucking Democrats. Everybody looked at me like with the eyes roll, like, I don't know if I'm invited back Thanksgiving, but no, it was hilarious. I was like, look, man, you guys can't sit over here, because they did complain about them bitching about it being a fraudulent election, all this bullshit. The same thing happened. You guys just got played. Like, we all got played, both sides of it. So every one of us, when any person gets elected, should be on our knees like that one chick screaming to the sky. No, all of us should be in the same position, because if we don't start voting in libertarians who just want to take over the world and give it back to the people, then we're just going to keep doing this shit forever, guys. Like, Jo Jorgensen was the only qualified candidate in the last election. I don't know if y'all know Dr. Joe, but she's a freaking civics person. She knows how government works. She's not a person that just walks in there and is like, hey, let's spend $500 billion in 1 week. What the fuck are you talking? We don't have that kind of money, So, I mean,
see, I'm old enough to remember we had civics class in grammar school.
Yeah. What does that even
that's
mean?
When you said the pledge. That's when you had the Pledge of Allegiance too.
Teach the teach the Constitution. Quit fucking around.
Yep.
Out of
this is just
education.
me. This is just me. I think a prerequisite to graduate high school is you have to take an oath to the Constitution, because if somebody who comes here and immigrates legally has to take an oath to it, we should too.
Well, when you receive a Social Security card and a birth certificate at birth, it's assumed, right? And that's the thing, is people don't know that they took that oath, right? Whenever they're paying into the system. And I think you're onto something there, Jeff. It's like, when I'm 18 years old, if I don't like the way things are going, I can just be like, I'm not pledging allegiance to this shit. I'm going to Chile. It's like, okay, fine. You were just going to disrupt shit here in America anyway, right? Yeah. See you in the next life, amigo.
Yeah.
You'll have more fun down there anyway.
Go to Venezuela with the communists. Bye.
Here's the problem. It's like everybody on this call and everybody on every other call in the history of mankind, you have to think the way that I think. Otherwise, you're an evil bigot. That's the problem I have with American citizens today. It's like, we are not evil. None of us are evil. And none of this shit is intentional. We just have the way of thinking that we think should be pushed onto other people. That's not right. I think we need to just all back up, put your fucking guns down, and let's have a conversation. It's okay for you to believe X, Y, and Z, as it is okay for me to believe X, Y, and Z. Do not step on my rights. That is my one rule. I won't step on yours. I give you my word. But you step on my rights, you're gonna fucking pay for it. And I'll leave you guys with this. Back in the day, right? When people said something fucked up to somebody else, they got hit in the mouth. Not enough people get hit in the mouth for the stupid shit they say anymore. There's no consequences. And when we bring back natural consequences, which we may very well at the collapse bring back natural consequences, people are going to learn to watch what they say immediately.
That's like the other day I saw the meme, and I've seen it before, but it's like, what's really good for your teeth? Minding your own business.
Well, I would say this every day. We're living in the days of smartphones and stupid people. So,
with that, hold on. I'm gonna add something. I'm gonna wrap it up right here, but
thank you.
We're gonna go with Meet the Sheeple line. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
that's nice.
And
Okay.
Plus, we had something added to it yesterday, but Teespring said no, which sucks.
Yeah, well,
We're gonna work on that.
I'm fixing to start selling some merch myself. I've got a whole box of T-shirts over here that my little cousin made up for me with the Wortham Armory logo on them. Thank goodness for that. I've got some hats on the way, and I got some really nice coffee mugs. I just have to find time to put that shit on the website. So maybe I'll do that this afternoon.
I'll talk to you because I might want one of those mugs.
Fair enough, brother. Yeah, you guys on the call, like I'll just send you one. Shoot me a ping.
Yeah, I want one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm all about giving away free shit that you guys might use on your podcast. It'd be great.
Yeah, definitely.
We're all for promoting other people, just like Todd and on. He's in the chat right now. When he's on with us, we try to promote his when he puts out a new video. Or I'm working on another guest who he's a content creator, and I told him, I said, well, if you're ever on and you know when you're going to be on, put out a video and we'll play it exclusively here. Because we're all about helping one another out. That's the way it should be. We got away from helping. Getting back to 9/11, it took a tragedy for almost 3,000 people to die for us to come together. And we came together for a long time, and then out of nowhere, people that sit at this nice marble table saw that and said, "No, we got to find a way to divide them again." That backfired on us.
It backfired on them hugely.
Yeah, Jeff, you're right. I mean, it's going to take another one. It's going to take something a little bit bigger this time. But Americans are going to die, and we will band together to pick up the pieces on the back end. And then 15 years from now, 20 years from now, we'll forget. We'll say we won't, but we will as a whole.
That's why history repeats itself. It's just
that's right.
Always has, always will. So.
All right.
Well, thank you, Sergeant. I appreciate you so much, and it was so great to meet you. And
I appreciate you guys.
Again,
I'm gonna go get something. Yeah, I'm gonna go get something for my throat, man. All I had was a Red Bull today, and I'm like running out of gas. So, John, thank you for all the extra that you do. Cammy's damn nice to meet you, and Jeff, I appreciate you guys. Maybe I'll start
we appreciate you.
Twitter a little bit, and I'll see you guys on the next one.
You'll see all them on Twitter. I'm not on Twitter. I'm just on True Social. That's it.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna set it out with the video while you do that. Give me 1 second.
I like.
Tonight, we are very pleased to welcome back to the Coliseum a 28-year active member of the President's Own United States Marine Band and 1986 graduate of Morgantown High School. Direct from our nation's capital and here to honor America in the playing of our national anthem, please welcome Marine violinist of the White House, Master Gunnery Sergeant Peter Wilson. Master Gunnery Sergeant Wilson has spent his career playing for presidents and first ladies. Tonight, he would like to dedicate his performance to a most special First Lady, Mary Ann Nealon, the First Lady of Mountaineer football who passed away on January 28th.
That's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Oh yeah.
Well, again, thank you again, Sergeant. I know you got to go and get yourself that Red Bull.
Yeah, I'm dying. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yep. And we will see you all on Tuesday for Unhinged, right, Jeff?
Yes, Unhinged with Cammy and Jeff. It's not uncuffed because I combined the two. But real quick, let's play that Jim Brewer clip. You've probably seen this before. Let me just cue it up here. But real quick, he figured it out. And I was never really a Jim Brewer fan. I mean, don't get me wrong. He plays an excellent stoner, especially in Half Baked, but was never really a fan until I saw this. But you've probably all seen it.
I figured that we still can do one sheep, two sheep, all the sheep.
Oh, yeah.
Hanging out here. I got shows in Omaha, Nebraska tonight, tomorrow night. And are you enjoying the great distraction circus, are you? Wow, what a show. Let's talk about this Rittenhouse kid today. Well, clearly he's an American hero. Hero? What are you, some kind of animal? He murdered people. Yeah, no, it was in self-defense. Self-defense and shit. I've never been there anyway. What's a 16-year-old doing with a gun? Well, he was trying to defend some real people. Did you see the people he actually killed? They were monsters. I know, but nobody, if anything, I think we should take guns away. If anything, I think he's the right reason why we need more guns. Sire, our plan is working geniusly as it has for centuries. They just keep dividing and we keep conquering as they're more distracted. We need to, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is a liar. How dare he lie? Why can't he be a teammate? Just get vaccinated. I think it's actually a choice. You should have a choice if you want to or do a double choice or a for the means of other people, of course. Oh, please, give me enough of that crap. Oh, wait a second, people haven't died? Is that what you're saying? I'm saying that Aaron Rodgers shouldn't be taking horse pills and taking advice from Joe Rogan, who's not a doctor. It's misinformation, and my information is the information. The great divide and conquer, sire. They will never unite. Plan's been working for centuries. Or are they starting to catch on and we will unite eventually? Turn the circus off, or at least know you're watching one.
He friggin' nailed it. I don't care what
He
anybody
nailed
says.
it, but I'm no psychologist, but I think that guy is schizophrenic.
Yeah. He's definitely a little out there, but he
did nail it.
He figured it. He nailed it.
No, he
figured
did.
it out.
Everything he said was truth, but I was getting a little worried for him. I was starting to look up psychologists. And just kidding.
Well, you also have to remember too. He worked. I remember seeing when I really started kind of liking him was I saw him on Joe Rogan, and he quit Saturday Night Live because he just got tired of how cutthroat it was. Because you have to write in order to get airtime at Saturday Night Live, you have to write your own skits. And he said there were people stab you in the back and would steal your skit and do it right in front of you.
Wow.
So he got so tired of that shit.
Yeah.
His wife told him, you know, look how much pot you smoke and you're so angry.
You're so angry. That's the first thing I was like, this guy is either very high, drunk, or all the above, and he's schizophrenic. But he told the truth though. So
yeah. So John, bring it on. Bring it on.
Game over. Oh man. Oh. All right. What do I do now? Tetris.
Hey, bitch,
get out the way. Move, bitch, get out the way. Get out the way, bitch, get out the way. Move, bitch, get out the way. Get out the way, bitch, get out the way. Move, bitch, get out the way. Get out the way, bitch, get out the way. Oh no, the fight's out. I'm about to punch your lights out. Get the fuck back, guard the grill. It's something wrong, we can't stay still. I've been drinking and busting too, and I've been thinking of busting you upside the motherfucking forehead. And if your friends jump in, tell me more days. Causing confusion, disturbing the peace. Since not an illusion, we running the streets. So
I love it. Bust through all their shit for blocking the road and arrest them. Don't sit there and block the road. That's
Mind you, they were on an Indian reservation and they all got arrested. They were crying, "We have rights." They were like, "Nah, you on a reservation."
No.
Yeah.
They're fucking sovereign territory.
Those Native Americans, they won't play. They'll be like, get the fuck out of here. We don't want you here.
All right, to the next one, but please hold your comments to the end of this because this is gonna get a little wild.
Oh, here we go.
You date a guy who legally owned a firearm. Let's start with you.
I mean, I would just be confused as to why he felt the need to have it. I don't know. It just doesn't seem necessary.
Self-defense.
In an urban setting, I mean,
Isn't that
that's where you need it the most.
ideal?
I mean,
3 men are starting to break into your house that you share with your boyfriend. Would you want your boyfriend to have a firearm to defend the home, defend you in that situation?
I mean, I don't think it's necessary that he has a gun to defend. Like, I mean, turn on all the lights, hit the car alarm, startle, like, you know.
Oh, scary! Oh, shiver my timbers! Shut up, man!
Just turn the lights on. Just turn the lights on.
I would like to tell that girl, that's fine. You and your boyfriend don't have to have a gun. Don't call the cops because they have a gun and they'll use it if their gun's going to be pointed at them. So don't be calling 911 either. End the case.
Just startle her. Just startle them. Just turn. Remember,
I'm just going to turn the lights on and the bad guys are going to go away. That's going to make it all better. I'm going to turn the lights on, okay?
Oh my God! Is that a 60-watt LED?
Yes,
I gotta go.
I'm turning the lights on, and on Unhinged on Tuesday, I'm gonna bring my flashlight and I'm gonna turn it on so the bad guys don't.
All right, that's the next one. Oh man!
Did you guys hear about the new mandates? They want us to date a man? I wouldn't mind. No, mandates.
Mandates. Some bullshit the government tries to tell you to do that's not really a law. This is Farminology with Gabe Bart.
Good videos. That was good to take us out.
I got one more. I'm trying to send it.
Okay.
Yeah, that was to our misinformation with the mandates.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, why won't it send? Hold on. The internet's acting funny. There it is. I got it. I love these two. Anybody know the Hodge twins?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I love them too. They're awesome. Yep.
Check out her response while Walmart left Chicago.
Walmart told us in a statement that losing millions of dollars a year is forcing them to close these stores.
People are outraged, protesting Walmart. We got politicians out there making speeches. They're calling Walmart racist. That Walmart was completely destroyed during the riots. They even set something on fire in that store, set off the sprinklers and flooded the entire store. So Walmart said, okay, we'll give it another shot. We'll reopen the store. Talking to one of the managers in there, he was just telling me how bad the theft is. The day after Walmart announced that they were closing 4 stores, the very next day, somebody went in there and stole 16 TVs out of the store.
White flight happens again. If you niggas stop acting like a bunch of crazy lunatics, you will still have a Walmart. But white people ain't putting up with that foolishness. You think the Waltons gonna put up with a bunch of niggas?
I love the Hodgkin twins. They're awesome, man. Hodgkins.
Here, you just go up into the Walmart and take 6 televisions. Hey,
Yeah.
that's perfectly fucking fine.
Didn't we do a video on Unhinged on Tuesday of that girl trying to take the TV out of Walmart and the bodyguard? You shared that, Jeff, remember? The bodyguard was like grabbing her and like taking the TV back. Maybe it was
I don't remember.
podcast. I don't know.
It was one of us that shared that.
Yeah, I thought it was Jeff, but
It wasn't me,
maybe,
no.
Then maybe it was John that shared that then. Well, we will see you guys Tuesday at 7 p.m. on Rumble again for Unhinged with Cammie and Jeff.
Yep.
Thank you all for tuning in.
Thank you, family. We love y'all.
Yes, we do.
Don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Unhinged will be on Tuesday.